Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your presence. I really appreciate it. And I hope it's worth your time. So let's get started. So we're here today to talk about simple tips to accomplish results in your career. This is going to be the outline. I'll do a brief introduction. I'll talk about career mapping and purpose. Then we are going to dive into tips and tricks, and finish with ownership. So nice to meet you. I'm Lucas Estevão. I'm a full-time dad. I'm dad of Samuel and Daniel. And Samuel, it's the one with my wife who is freaking out because of the fake picture. That's a picture we took a few weeks ago in our first trip to Lake Tahoe. First time taking the kids to snow. So there was a lot of expectation there. And I think we overcome the expectations. It was a really nice trip. So that's my family. I'm a technical manager and principal UI engineer here at Avenue Code. I'm a dev lead in the Silicon Valley, big tech, one of our clients here. I'm in tech for 15 years now. It's been a long time, 10 years in Avenue Code. But although it seems like a long time in the same company, it feels like a different company. I worked with at least 5 different accounts and went on a couple of different business trips to support my clients onshore. And it's been an incredible journey. Met some awesome folks, learned a ton, and it's been great. So I want to share some tips. I use it for myself in this endeavor on my career to get the results I expected from my career. One of my goals was to move abroad, to leave Brazil and to live in the US, and specifically to work with a big tech. That happened in 2019 when I moved from my beloved hometown, Belo Horizonte, to San Francisco Bay Area. So hopefully you can gain something from the tips I'm going to share. And as I said, that I used it myself and brought results for me. I will start talking about career mapping and purpose. And I want to make you this question. Where are you flying to? Where are you flying to? Can you answer this question? It might help if you imagine yourself at an airport and you're about to buy an airplane ticket, and the person who is selling you the ticket asks you, where are you flying to? But imagine that you don't know your destination. So you haven't made up your mind. You don't know where you're going to, but you ended up buying that ticket. So you just got a random ticket for somewhere. You don't know exactly what is it. You don't know the destination, but you got your ticket and you're flying somewhere. And the situation sounds a little bit crazy. It sounds absurd. After all, who buys a ticket, especially an airplane that it's usually expensive, without knowing where they're going to? However, this is exactly what we do when we make decisions without thinking in our purpose, without thinking about the destination we are heading to. It's the same thing that happens when we let it flow, when we let our career just happen, without intentional actions and decisions, without thinking about the destination, the goals, where we want to reach, what we want to reach. And there is a similar situation to the one I just described that occurs in Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. If you are familiar with the cartoon, you might remember the Cheshire Cat. And there is this moment when Alice is lost in the woods and she reaches out to the cat and asks which path she should take. And the cat naturally responds that any path would do because Alice didn't know where she was going to. So the point I'm trying to make here is that before thinking about the path, we need to think about our destination. We need to think about the purpose. And purpose to me is a choice. Right? Which career you want to choose? Where do I want to be, or what do I want to do, or who do I want to reach, or why do I want to achieve this or that goal? So you may think about your career like a map. So you started somewhere, You had a few stops along the way with ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and hopefully you know where you're going to. I'll bring here a quick example of how a career map might look like. So this person started the university doing computer science in 2015. He had his first internship program and started learning HTML about a year after, got his first full-time job another year after, but had a bad moment. He got laid off, lost his job, started a second internship, went back to the basics, learning CSS. Then he started a mentorship, which helped him to get a new internship in 2018. And he's heading to his first full-time job as a front-end engineer. That's his purpose. And this is just a simple example. Obviously, you don't need to literally draw a map like that. You can check your resume if that helps. Although drawing something like that might give you a different perspective and a more visual one about your own journey. And the idea of the map is also to help you to identify your peak experiences, the ones that you were on top. Like, peak experiences are pretty much those times in your life where you felt most engaged with the sense of accomplishment. You know, you're working always in the flow. You felt good about it. You felt some sort of pride or a deep feeling of satisfaction. Those were your peak experiences, and they usually would be on these little tops in the map. You can also identify your valleys, you know, those moments where you were not satisfied, you're not excited about your career, you're doing something that you really didn't like, stuff like that. And drawing this map can help you to reflect on these peaks and valleys, those moments of satisfaction, those good moments where you're working with stuff that you really enjoy it and that makes sense for you, and those moments that you were not really satisfied. This might help you to see patterns and recognize your career values. So here are some examples of values. So where I'm heading to, what are the values that I'm pursuing in my career? Maybe you're pursuing financial reward, and there's absolutely no shame on that. There's no such thing as right or wrong values. Your values are yours and yours alone. So maybe you're pursuing financial reward. Maybe you're looking for flexibility. You want more life quality. You want flexibility of time and location, maybe. Maybe you're looking for leadership. So you want to work more with people and have an impact with people and work less with code. Or maybe you're looking for a challenge and you're pursuing a job in one of the FANG companies. And if that makes sense to you, maybe you're looking for recognition, whatever. Think about the roles, the projects, the actual work that you do that is more closely aligned with your peak experiences. Those moments where you felt that deep satisfaction, when everything made sense for you. Those peak experiences usually they point to your values, and you can make sure your destination is aligned with those values. So those are just a few examples. We could list 100 values here, but just to help you to think about what are your values. So you can make yourself this question: how does my current role, my current work, whatever I'm doing, satisfy my top values? You don't need to list all your values, all the 100 values that you have, but if you can list 3, maybe 5, and try to think, how does your current role satisfy those values for you? Like, am I getting paid enough? Am I happy with my compensation? Or am I working with people as I would like to? You can also ask yourself, how does your current role do not satisfy your top values? Maybe you're not working with people as much as you'd like to, because working with people is one of your values. Another question that can help you to reflect about your career and connect your peak moments with your value is ask yourself, Can you think about anything that aligns with your values that you'll be interested in trying? Maybe you're thinking about a career transition. Maybe you're thinking about making a move, and you want to make sure that you know where you're going to. You know where you're going to. Whatever your career values are, the important thing here and that I want to highlight is that you should know where you are going to. There is plenty of evidence. There is a lot of literature that shows that setting goals and having a purpose can increase the odds of success. I can mention Napoleon Hill, Simon Sinek, Stephen Covey, and many others. Stephen Covey, it's one of the authors that said that starting with the end in mind, that is having a clear goal and a sense of where you're heading to before you actually act, is one of the habits of highly effective people. And I'm pretty sure you want to be effective with your career as well. So now that you know, hopefully, where you are and where you're heading to, let's check some tips and tricks to help you getting there. Let me just drink a little bit of water. So the first tip that I want to bring, it's the brag document. And I want to bring that because there is this idea that if you do great work at your job, people will, or at least they should, automatically recognize that the work that you did was great and perhaps reward you for it, maybe with a promotion or increased pay, something like that. But we know that in reality, it's way more complicated than that. Hardly we will get such recognition automatically. So you may be working with a different technology than your manager, for instance, or maybe your manager works in a different client and doesn't have visibility about the work that you're delivering. And I know it feels frustrating to have done something really important and later realize that you didn't get rewarded because the person that was responsible for making decisions either didn't understand, or they didn't remember, or they didn't even know the work that you did. So there was this girl called Julia Evans. She came up with this term, the brag document. And the idea is this. Let me ask you a question first, actually. Do you remember everything that you did and accomplished last year? Actually, do you remember the things that you did last month? Your accomplishments from last month or last quarter? And do you think your manager will? Do you think your manager will remember? I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. But well, this was her first motivation. The brag document is roughly a tool that you can use to track and bring visibility of your accomplishments. So you don't rely on your own ability to remember everything that you did. And you also don't rely on a third party, on your manager, your leadership. So this is how a document could look like. You have your goals for the year that are usually connected with the goals that you have for the next year. You may list all the feedbacks that you have received through this the period of time. You can say that you can have that document for a year or for a quarter, for specific periods of time, or a long-term unique document for your life, whatever. But you should also list all your deliverables. So everything that you believe it's meaningful and valuable for your career, even the small things. So you can refer to it when you get to the review season. So you don't need to remember, you have everything listed out. You may add trainings, conferences, articles you wrote, talks that you have given, as I said, anything that it's valuable for you, for your career, and for the business. So how to use that? You simply create a document, open Google Docs, create a brag document, list all your accomplishments, create a recurring event or a task in your calendar. And that's important to make sure that you remember. So you could add, I don't know, maybe once a month or any, any other month. So you can go back to the document and list the things that you did in the previous month. You may choose to transform that into a presentation or not. You can simply share that document with your manager. But if you have a specific goal, you can transform it into a presentation, maybe with beautiful charts, and present it to your manager when the time is right. An important thing about this document, the brag document, is that it's not just about getting promoted or getting raises. It can actually be more useful than that. It can help you to reflect on the work, the things that you're doing, the impact that you're having in your work, to have visibility about your learning process and your own career development overall. But it definitely helped. It at least helped me with promotions and getting better compensation as well. Yeah, as Hannah said, it needs attention. So that was the first tip. Have your brag document and keep it updated. The second one is an interesting one. It's called the Keeper test. It's basically a prompt test that it's used at Netflix. They use that to bring visibility to where people stand in the company, in the peers, in the organization, the teams that they work with. It's a tool for both manager and managee, and both can use it to ask for feedback. So to use the Keeper test, you basically need to reach out to your leadership, to your manager, and make this question. If I were thinking of leaving, how hard would you work to change my mind? Ask that to your manager. If I were thinking of leaving, how hard would you work to change my mind? So you can have at least 3 possible outcomes of that question. One, your manager might say he would fight hard for you. So that's good. Pretty much positive feedback. Your manager might give you an uncertain answer, maybe with clear feedback about how you can improve and deliver better results, which is also good because you now have an action plan to excel at your role. And the third outcome could be that your manager feels that he would not fight hard to keep you. There may be something negative about your performance, something you're not doing right, and that wasn't previously discussed. This might make this question a little bit scary, but it's still good because it can spark a clear discussion about what you can do to deliver better results. Maybe you are not aligned and you don't know. And actually, if you think about it, especially in our scenario here at Avenue Code, it can actually have a fourth outcome. Your manager might say, I don't know. And maybe he or she doesn't know because there is a visibility problem, because your manager probably or maybe don't know the work that you're doing, the value that you're bringing to the company. That's when the brag document comes handy. You give visibility to your manager. So that's the idea behind the Keeper test. We have the IDP. It's another tip. Yes, just like the one we have on Culture Rocks. It can start with a conversation that is transformed into an action plan, or you can create your own IDP, your own simple document. You can use a tool like Culture Rocks, as I mentioned. But it's basically a clear and detailed path to achieve specific goals. So you set up your goal and you list your actions. And I know someone spoke about SMART here earlier today. So when setting up your goal, make sure you use a good technique like SMART, making sure that they're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So one of the examples that I brought, it's someone that is trying to increase their knowledge into architecture. And this person wants to read a book in a specific period of time. This person wants to do a training, do some hands-on exercises, and approach his manager to try to use all that knowledge gained into real work. So again, you set your goal, you list the actions you want to take to get there, you define your deadline, and you connect with your supporters, maybe your manager, maybe your peers, or maybe a mentor, which is another tip. Seek a mentor. Getting help from more experienced professionals, people you admire, and people you share values with, it can make a huge difference in your career. Value their opinions. Listen carefully to your mentors, to each piece of feedback, even if it's hard to swallow, even if it's difficult to understand. Listen to it. Try to understand. I can say that Fabio is being my manager here at Avenue Code for years now. He's a mentor to me, and other than myself, it's the biggest responsible for me to be here at Avenue Code for 10 years, and one of the biggest responsible for my success, for the success I had on my career. As I said, he's a mentor to me. He was always ready to share a word of wisdom and always ready to listen. So thank you, Fabio. Mentors can support your growth. Mentors can serve you as a source of knowledge. Mentors can help you to set goals. Mentors can maintain your accountability. They are going to encourage you and enable your professional development. They can provide with specific insights and information that enables your success. They can keep you accountable, and that's very important because mentors don't do the work that you are supposed to be doing. They won't create a brag document. They won't call you to and ask you to do the keeper test. They won't create your IDP. They won't ask you, hey, can I be your mentor? Can I support you? That should come from you. You should be accountable. Oops. And I want to finish talking about ownership. So just reviewing the tips that we spoke about. We spoke about the brag document. We spoke about the keeper test. We spoke about the IDP. And we spoke about mentorship. So at least 4 simple tips that you can take action today. You can open Google Docs, start writing your accomplishments today. You can schedule a one-on-one with your manager and make him that question, the keeper test, today. You can start your IDP. We have tools like Ultra Rocks, or you can simply open another document and set up your goals using SMART technique, for instance. Set up your deadlines, list your supporters, people that are going to help you to achieve those goals. And you can seek for a mentor, which is usually and preferably something that you admire, someone that already reached the place you're aiming to, someone that shares values with you. Do those things. But remember that you are the sole responsible for your career success. No one, absolutely no one, should care more about your career than yourself. Let it sink. You are the sole responsible for your career success. You might be familiar with how Carol Dweck's concept of growth mindset works. She says that with a growth mindset, you understand that the abilities that you currently have and the ones that you may not have can be developed. So all attitudes that you have are leading you to self-development and to improvement. In the other hand, people with a fixed mindset, they believe their qualities are simply fixed trait. They are something, there are things that they cannot change, evolve, develop. So they will just blame their companies. They will blame their managers. Oh, my performance wasn't so good. It's because my manager never supported me. He never reached out to me. They may blame even the weather for their failures. So if you care about your career, and you should, be proactive. Stephen Covey, the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he says that proactive people are response-able. And to be proactive is about taking responsibility for your life. It's taking responsibility for your career. It's yours. Proactive people recognize that they are response-able. They don't blame the circumstances. They don't blame conditions. They definitely won't blame their managers or the companies. They know that they can choose their behavior. Reactive people, on the other hand, would rather complain, get frustrated after a performance review, and blame the company because that's easier. It's easier just to blame someone else because that's out of our control instead of looking out for our own careers. I want to end with this quote, from Miyamoto Musashi, which is a Roman and a Japanese philosopher. And he says that there is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, smarter. Everything is within. Everything exists. Seek nothing outside of yourself. Own it. Own your career. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. Lucas, we have a question from Alap here on the chat. He wants to know if you have ever done the keeper test, and if yes, how did it go?
I remember the first time I did it, and I was thinking about leaving, and I did the question, and my manager fought hard for me. I got a raise, and I'm still here, so it went good. And the brag document, I use it every time. I usually create different documents for each year because I would have different goals, but I keep the track of everything I did in the past as well because that's very helpful.
They are actually really good tips, and of course, you can get the idea and adapt using your reality. But I think it's a good start. When you have purpose, when you have goals, when you monitor your results, it's easier to get what you really want for your career. So
Yeah, and you can avoid
you have,
frustrations
yes.
if you set your expectations right and you're aligned. You hardly are going to end up in a frustrated situation.
Oh, Anna is going to make a map. That's awesome, Anna. I really recommend the map or any kind of register where you can see what progress are you making. Because I think what makes people give up from their goals is when they don't realize that they are getting there. They don't realize the journey. They don't feel that the journey is going to take them there. So I think it's a good point. Thank you, Tamis. Do you have any more questions for Lucas? Any points do you want to share? No? So thank you, Lucas, for all the insights, for the content. It was really, really, really good. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us. Tomorrow, we have our last day of Career Week, so don't miss it. We have many good things tomorrow, too. So thank you.
And guys,
Oh,
if you can feedback to the link that Hannah shared, I really appreciate it. It's very important to me.